The next line, Guru says, Ai panthi sagal jamati man jeeta jagjeet. Ai panth, amongst all the schools of yogic philosophy, the highest, most respected school of thought is the Ai panth. It's the most respected school of yogic thought. They're the Shiva worshippers that are seen as the highest order of yogis. Guru Nanak Dev Ji is invited to join the Ai Panth. Guru says, I already have an Ai Panth. I already have the highest school. I already belong to the highest order of yogis. And what is my order of spiritual height, my spiritual greatness? He says, Sagal Jamati. Jamati means that you see everyone as a brotherhood. He says, I see everyone as my equal. I see everyone as the same. That is the brotherhood that I've entered into. I don't need to create a division in my life. I don't need to belong to just you and exclude myself from other groups. Guru Nanak Dev Ji says, everyone who's a spiritual seeker, they're my brother, they're my sister. And Sagal means everyone and everything. All of creation is my brother and sister. So Guru Nanak Dev Ji talks about the final thing that you need is this sense of unity, of inclusivity. There is no point you belonging to a spiritual path and then you say that my spiritual path is better than your spiritual path. Your ego comes back. You're still holding on to something. Guru Nanak Dev Ji says, I belong to everything and everything belongs to me. Sagal Jamati. If you still consider yourself separate from others, then you haven't let that wisdom really penetrate to the deepest level of you, into your core. He says, everyone who's on a spiritual path, all of you spiritual people, I see you as my peers. So I don't need to join your club. Because if I join your club, it means that I exclude myself from other clubs. Look at how Guru Nanak Dev Ji was. He travelled all over the place. Wherever he went, he dressed like them. If he goes to Mecca and Baghdad, he wears their clothes. But he always keeps it a little bit distinct. So people will say, you look a bit like us, but you're a little bit different as well. Why do you look a bit different? When he goes amongst the yogis, people can tell that he's a religious person, but they say, we can tell you're religious, but you don't look like one of us. The Guru says, I belong to everyone. How can I dress like one particular type of person? I belong to all of us. So everyone is my brother. Sagal Jamati. My brotherhood is all of creation. We're all headed on our own paths in the same direction. So Guru Nanak Dev Ji is talking to all religious traditions and said, all religious traditions, you're all on your own path and you're all headed in the same direction that I'm headed. So we're all in it together. And this is this idea of inclusivity that we need to have. But we don't think like that, do we? Sikhs are Sikhs and Hindus are Hindus. Muslims are Muslims, Buddhists are Buddhists, Christians are Christians, atheists are atheists. And then every now and then when we're feeling quite inclusive, we'll have an interfaith event where the Sikhs get to talk about how Sikh we are and the Hindus get to talk about how Hindu we are. But you go home and you say, but I'm still a Sikh and you're still a Hindu. Guru Nanak Dev Ji doesn't talk like that. Guru Nanak Dev Ji says, Ai Panthi Sagal Jamati. We are equal. We are all the same. You are all my brothers. You are all my sisters. And this is intrinsic to my spiritual values. This is intrinsic to my way of understanding the destination of getting to the oneness. Is that I have to see everything as part of me. Ai Panthi, this is my Ai Panth. This is the highest spiritual order that I belong to. I don't need to join your club. I already belong to the highest club because my club says that everyone's invited. Everyone's included. Man jeeta jag jeet. This is the success that the whole world is craving for. Man jeeta. If you conquer that which is within your own mind, then you conquer the world. Everybody in the whole world knows that there's more to life. Everybody is looking for it. Everyone knows that there's more than just the pleasures of the mind and the pleasures of the body. But very few of us are fortunate enough to know, how do we get there? How do we break this constant cycle of suffering? The yogis considered that they've conquered the world when they got siddhis, spiritual powers. And they said that when we gain these spiritual powers, that's when we know we've got control over the whole world. Guru Nanak Dev Ji says, that's not control of the whole world. You might control your body, you might control the elements. Guru Nanak says, when you control your mind, that's when you've controlled the world. So, what is control of the mind? When you've incorporated all the internal inner values that the Guru's talked about, contentment, effort and discipline, awareness, mortality, self-restraint, trust, inclusivity, universal brotherhood, then you conquer your mind. This is how you conquer your mind. And unfortunately, this line is quite often misquoted. People talk about this line of Guru Nanak Dev Ji, Man jeete jag jeet. If you conquer your mind, you can achieve anything. If you think it, you can achieve it. It's very shallow modern psychology, which is intrinsically rooted in material success. Most people who quote these things, when I conquer my mind, I conquer the world, what they're really saying is, if I work hard enough and I overcome the barriers within my mind, I can achieve any material success that I want in life. I can be the next Bill Gates. I can be the next billionaire. But what they haven't managed to overcome is their attachment to wealth. So they haven't overcome their mind. They haven't won the world. Because they haven't even understood that they're still holding on to material success. Why hold on to material success when your body and all the materials around it are going to die? Do you see how you can't take this line in isolation? But people do. We put our own interpretation of how we can conquer our mind. But Guruji says, when you do all the things that I've talked about, the contentment, the self-restraint, the trust, the awareness of death, the awareness of body, of mind, at all times, then you have conquered your mind. Now we can understand that all of this is conquering our mind, but the question is, how does this conquer the world? How can we say that conquering the mind is conquering the world? Well, right now, our mind is our master. In our day-to-day lives, we are the slaves to our mind. And your mind tells you that this life of yours is very important. And in this life, you have to go out and fight and struggle and survive in the world to get whatever you can. You have to do whatever you can because your life is important and the world is something for you to go and succeed in. The world is your oyster. The world is to be explored. Success is to be achieved. So what we do is we create an opponent out of the world. We almost make the world into this big beast, and every day we put on our armor and we go out and we fight for survival. We try and fight with the world to get whatever we can. The world we see as something to be conquered. How many of us see the world and life as our friend? And how many of us see the world and life as a bit of a challenge, as a struggle every day? So we see life as this big, unknowable, gigantic beast. Something that's very difficult to overcome. Unpredictable, unreliable. Yeah, life is unreliable. It's unpredictable. So every day we put our armor on and we go out there and we fight the world. And every night we come home and we feel disappointed because we haven't slayed the beast. So we go to sleep, we rest, we wake up the next morning, we put our armor on again, and we go out there and we fight again. We want to survive, we want to do the best we can. But what has the world done to us? Why have we made a monster out of the world? Why should it be conquered? What has the sun and the moon and the earth and the sky and the wind and the water ever done to us? Except shelter us and feed us and look after us. And give us warmth when we need it. Where does all your food come from? It comes from this earth. Where does your home come from? From the materials of this earth. Where do your clothes come from? Why have we made a monster out of the world? Why have we made it a beast that needs to be conquered? We have to recognize that the struggle that's been created is within the mind. The beast is actually in the mind, it's not out there. Temptations, emotions, expectations, attachments, desires, these are the real struggles in the world. If you silently just go stand out in the world has nothing to say to you. It's just doing what it needs to do. The real struggle is something that's inside you. So the opponent is inside you, the battle needs to be also fought inside you. And by following the Guru's steps, by following the steps that the Guru has outlined, you can be free from the things that bind you down. You can be able to succeed and overcome these challenges, the challenges that are inside you. You can be free from them when you fight them with the tools that the Guru is giving you here. And then you can merge into the oneness of the world. The world is just a oneness, but we've created it into a monster. So the oneness of the whole world that we keep hearing about in these great spiritual texts seems to be hidden from us. But the thing that's stopping us from seeing the oneness of the world are our attachments, our greed, our desires, our expectations of life. The things that are in our minds right now is stopping us from seeing the oneness of the world. When you overcome your mind, you will overcome the challenges of the world. When you overcome the battle that should always have been fought within the mind, you will realize that the world is beautiful. The world is something amazing. You and the world have this connection which you just never saw before. That is how you conquer the beast of the world that never was. The beast that was always within you. Man jeete, jag jeet. And when you conquer your mind and you conquer the world, what you have left to say is Ades dise Ades. I bow to this, I bow. Ades means to bow. Dise to this. Ades, I bow. I bow to this, I bow. Because what you have left there is utter humility. Because you created a monster out of the oneness. You see the oneness for the first time. The one who created you, the one who sustains you, the one that gives life, the one that gives all joy, all pleasures. You see it. And you have nothing left to say but, wow, I didn't know. All this time, I didn't know. Because you weren't fighting the right battle. You didn't have the tools. The tools are what Guru has outlined in this body. In this verse, these are the tools that the Guru has given us. And when you see them, when you've conquered your mind, then Ades dise Ades. I bow to this, I bow. To the one that is Ad, Anil, Anad, Anahat, Jug Jug Eko Ves. Ad, that which is the very beginning of all. Anil, the one that is completely pure, colorless, without any qualities, unblemished, untouched by Maya. Anad, even though it is the beginning of all, it has no ad of itself. Ad means beginning. It is the beginning of all, but it is anad. It has no beginning. It is uncreated, unborn. Anahat, it never ends. It has no ending. Undying. Jug jug eko ves. Throughout the ages, it has always had one form. The oneness of everything has always been the oneness of everything. This is its form. It has no form, and yet it has every form. And this is the way it has always been. How do we get to this? We have to wear the munda santok, sarampat choli, tyan ki kare biput, khinta kal kuari kaya jugat danda partit, ai panthi sagal jamati, man jeeta jag jeet. When you know how to conquer these things with the right tools that the Guru has given you, then you will know the oneness and you will bow down in humility to the oneness of everything. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.